So what experiences are people having? What challenges are they facing? What experiences do they have that led them to you? Let's see, your business.
Mine?
Yes.
Massage therapy, aesthetics.
Okay, perfect. So what are the 5 predictable questions people have when they come in to be a new client of yours, or they call you up on the phone? What do they want to know?
Price.
Price. What else?
What types of machines I'm using.
Okay.
Techniques. What it will do for them.
Okay.
How long it will take and to have their wrinkles removed and how long it will last.
Okay. Great. And so does every client, every new client have those questions?
Not everyone, no.
Not everyone. Some of them just come in and say, do what you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
And how much.
But the ones who, yeah, and how much? Okay. Most people have 5 or 6 predictable questions. How many people would agree in this room right now, people have 5 or 6 predictable questions that they want answered? What happens when you answer them preemptively, when you answer them while you're telling the story? They don't have questions. If they don't have questions, there's nothing to think about. They just need to make a decision. Who else is doing what you're asking me to do? List your elements of proof. Who else is doing what you asked me to do? Lay out your story. These are important keys. Number 1, grab me by the ears. Get my attention. Remember, it's not that I grew up in a restrictive environment. I grew up in a cult. Cult is emotionally charged. It gets your attention. It pulls you in. It makes you think certain things. Lay the foundation. I laid the foundation. I had a regular, normal life. And then, I was torn away from everything I knew and taken to Idaho and put into this cult where I had to learn new things. Engage my emotions. Did it make anyone feel slightly remorseful or bad for me, not remorseful, but bad for me or sorry for me, to hear that I grew up in a cult as a small child and had my freedoms taken away, right? Yeah. It engages your emotions. It also reduces your resistance because you want to hear more. Layer on the proof. What was the layer of proof that I added to my whole cult story to make it real? I told you where you could go join yourself, right? Answer my questions preemptively. Give me enough information that I can draw your conclusion. See, you want people to come along, and you want them to have the same kind of aha moment you did, where they go, I get it, this is the right thing to do. Because the moment somebody creates a belief, and once they have a belief, they will do what to it forever?
Defend it.
Defend it violently. People do not want to change beliefs. They would much rather defend them. Give my feedback. This is the important part during a story, is to ask some questions. It's eliciting more information from the listener. Even in books or movies, don't they ask you questions sometimes? They want you to think. They want you to become a part of this. They want you to put yourself in the process. And that's what questions do. Then tell your story. Build big word pictures. One of the examples I like to use is about a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. How many people here have ever had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? They're good, right? Yeah, they're guilty pleasure if you're on a diet. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are good. But how many people have ever had a really good peanut butter and jelly sandwich, honestly? How many people have ever had one of those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? Your mom used to make them, and she knew just how you liked them because she'd take the crusts off of that Wonder White bread, and she'd just slather the peanut butter on one side and then the jelly on the other, and she always used that freezer jam, that really sweet strawberry freezer jam that you got out. Put it on there, and then she'd smash it together, and you'd take that first bite, and jelly would squirt out on your hands, and peanut butter would get up on your lip, and the bread would stick to the roof of your mouth, and oh my God, it was delicious, right? Those are big word pictures as opposed to, yeah, it was a great peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It has some jelly, some peanut butter, some bread, good. Use actively descriptive words and phrases. Actively descriptive words and phrases usually end in ing, doing, happening, thinking, making, earning, experiencing. These are the kinds of things that pull people into the action themselves. Use your body and your voice to tell the story. I'll tell you a very interesting story. When I was in the military, I left my weapon unsecured one time when I was in basic training. Guess what happened? I then, for the rest of the time, had to sleep with my weapon secured to my person, with the rifle butt between my legs, strapped hard to my leg. Now imagine what that's like when you get out of bed first thing in the morning and forget you have a rifle strapped to your leg and the butt is between your legs. And you jump up, crack. Oh yes, I remember now. Rifle butt, not in my butt. It hurts. It reminds you, never, ever, 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 ever leave your weapon unsecured. Now, imagine what that's like though. You get up and it's just like, oh, okay, I remember now. Now, is that more telling? But see, everybody can use their body and their voice to tell a story. Most people choose not to though, because we're afraid. Oh, somebody might think I'm funny. Somebody might think that's odd. I'm a massage therapist. I can't do that. Sure you can. This is how massage therapists tell stories. Have you ever just, had this pain in your arm right here? And doesn't it feel great when somebody just pushes right here and just starts to... That's how you tell a story. It's that simple. But most massage therapists would go, it feels really good to get a massage. Encourage feedback. Get people to give you feedback so that you know exactly what they're thinking. Tie in information that you've gathered from them to connect them to your story. You want to gather the information that they've given you, and you want to use that so that you can tie them back into the story. Talk about what was important to them. Did I talk about what was important to him, his need for self-actualization and independence? He told me about this. He told me about the structured life that he had, and I turned that right back into the story. It became an important part. Get them to put themselves in the story. You can take no action until you've seen yourself take it. It's important to get them to think about what might happen in the future, what their life would be like in the future, having done this action. So, if I were buying wedding photography, I might say something like, 6 months from now, when you're sitting down for the first time with these photos, with your friends and family all around you, tell me what it's going to be like when everybody gets to see these pictures for you for the first time.
I use the example of you're sitting down on your first anniversary.
Right, your first anniversary, perfect, and you're looking at these pictures. But then have them move it forward even further. Imagine what's going to happen, you're 75 years old now, and you've got your grandkids around, your great-grandkids, you know how everybody has those 50-year anniversaries. There's like those funny wedding pictures that people have, and then there's the one where your wife couldn't have looked more gorgeous than she did at that time. 50 years later, she's as beautiful a woman looking at that photo as she was the day it was taken. Maybe prettier. Because people change, but beauty never does. Use your story to elicit theirs. If I tell you my story, doesn't it make you think, maybe I should tell them something about myself? It opens people up, right? It increases rapport instantly. Now, I'm not going to go through eliciting their story. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here, but I'm just going to tell you a couple things about eliciting their story. Ask questions like, tell me about a time that, did I do that with him when we were talking? Tell me about a time that happened. What does that mean? What did that mean to you? And get them to tell you just a little bit more. I've got time for about 3 or 4 questions. Who has any questions that I can answer right now that will make your stories more powerful or better?
You go through this in your seminar?
I'm sorry? Yes.
Do you go through this in your seminar?
Yes. Well, the answer is I don't, because I've taught this 2 times now, and it's happened within 24 hours.
Wow.
And only one person has heard it twice, and Dr. Knowles has been able to bear through it 2 times. So this information it's literally, I've only taken my clients who pay me a significant amount of money. Most of the clients who want to work with me are people who in the past have said, I want to move masses of people towards some idea. I want to create powerful selling strategies, or I want rapid consumer acceptance of products, and that's what I've done. I've been focused on advertising, marketing, direct selling. So those are I haven't even taught them the process, I've just used it for them. So this is exactly the process I use, and this is as detailed as I've ever made it, so that you guys have exactly everything that I do. I literally sat down the other night and hacked my brain and said, okay, what's the first step I do? What's the next step I do? What's the next step that I do? And when you do this, you will get predictable results. How many people here are more likely to buy something when you hear a story than when somebody gives you a list of features and benefits, or just tries to find out what's important to you so they can parrot something back to you that they've already said? See, because you get emotionally involved, you stop thinking. We're societally conditioned to listen to stories. From our very earliest youth, what's the first thing that happens? Stories, right? Back when Ugg was walking around with his club, how did they find out where the great hunting grounds were? Stories, right? So we've been not only societally conditioned, but evolutionarily conditioned to listen to stories and know how to apply them.